Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Enterprise AI in Action Roundtable. I am Arseniy Tarasov, CEO of Hyperit. And today I'm very pleased to invite George Broadbent from Twiniti. And today we're going to discuss enterprise AI adoption and AI in digital twins. Very interesting and very hot topic. So George, welcome. Great to have you here on our roundtable.
Thank you, Arseniy. Appreciate you inviting me to this. This is going to be a great discussion, I think.
Yeah, I think so. The topic is very interesting. And I mean, there are a number of different discussions about the different tools, technologies, success stories, but there is very little experience so far about enterprise-wide adoption of AI across different departments, across different teams. So I would like really to cover that topic. But before that, I wanted to ask you to do a quick introduction of yourself, of Twiniti. What do you guys do? What are your key areas of expertise and business value?
Sure. So, George Broadbent, I've been in the consulting industry for about 30 years now. And what kind of draws me to that industry is being able to see different solutions from different industries, different groups, different problems that organizations are having. Very much a connect the dots kind of person. So I like to look at not only an organization, but between organizations, how they operate. That has led me to now founding Twiniti, and really Twiniti is about digital twins. It's a combination of digital twins and infinite. And it's about accessing artificial intelligence to scale your organization, infinite possibilities, infinite scalability, and digital twins is one of those mechanisms that we're going to use to enable that within an organization. So happy to be here today, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's start with a very I would say controversial topic, or very interesting topic regarding the ways how large and medium companies look at the AI adoption. Because talking to executives and board levels and reading different studies, I see that people focus on just giving out the licenses for ChatGPT or other LLMs and say, okay, just do it, right? Just use it. And obviously people get a lot of benefits just from basic automation, right? At the same time, when I look at it and think, okay, you are getting obviously some benefits, but at the same time, I think AI should be, especially if we talk about AI first companies and the companies who try to transform into being AI first, need a really different approach looking at this AI transformation, not just at the personal personal automation level, but really across different levels of personal success, team success, right, department level and the enterprise level. Can you share your thoughts on this?
Yes, absolutely. And I've got a few opinions on how organizations should and how they are deploying AI. And you're absolutely right. There's kind of, you break it down to those three levels there: basic, departmental, corporate initiatives. And I've seen way too many times where they say, okay, here's $20, go get yourself a GPT subscription, and good luck. So
exactly. Now you're on your own.
Yeah, and that's great from a personal perspective, because it does improve the way that you can work individually. But that's not really unlocking the value or the power of AI from the business perspective. Mm-hmm. Even at a departmental level, and I've lived through this, where you say, okay, well, my whole team, you've got the subscription now. Let's start automating a lot of our tasks and create some agents to use. But again, that's a closed ecosystem of it. And then the corporate level is really about transformation. It's really the transforming agent for the organization. What can we, what can we automate, basically? What kind of repetitive tasks can we eliminate and turn into an AI agent? And that's really where the value of AI starts to shine. At the personal level, sure. I can take my meeting recording, create my meeting minutes, my action items, do that in a few minutes. I personally have used it for proposals, but that's not that's increasing my own individual productivity,
Right.
which is great for an organization. But there has to be a mechanism behind it. It's similar to ERP systems. When they were being deployed, many years ago. It's not about It's about taking away the individual spreadsheet and making it a corporate enterprise-wide platform. That's the same thing we want to do with AI.
Right. Then the question here is the following, right? I mean, if we talk about executives, they say, okay, here is my little empire. This is my little world. I'm responsible for the success. So why should I talk to others? Why should I align, my AI initiatives with others to be successful, right? Because I have my own metrics, I have my own the ways of measuring success. So what could be an initiative that would unite, right, and bring the most value cross-departmental in an organization, so that they get benefits not just from a single kind of task automation or from a single, let's say, business function automation, but really through having AI throughout the whole organization. What would be your examples or your ideas here?
So there are a lot of different corporate initiative examples, but really, kind of what it boils down to is if I have a couple of criteria, like if I have a repetitive task that is ripe for AI automation, and if I have multiple data sources that I need to go to,
right,
that is ripe for AI. And that's also where digital twins comes into play, because digital twins is able to look across all those different data sources and examine the information and draw connections between that. That would take, yes, we do reports, we do Power BI and things like that, but you're many times, you're looking at one Power BI report, then you flip to another report, and you flip to another one, you go, oh, okay, I see the connection there. And that's really where AI starts to form those connections for you. One of my favorite activities right now is to build an AI agent on top of an existing application or set of applications,
right,
so that it can start to dive into that application. Not trying to take anything away from the application itself. It's serving a function, a purpose, but we want to be able to draw those insights across the applications. And that's really at the corporate level what you should be looking at is automation and the insights across different applications without trying to build, an expensive, massive data lake or, data warehouse or anything like that, which do have their purpose, but you want to be able to quickly and easily get into that information.
Okay. Then there is another very interesting topic is about the structure of teams. What would be the best way of, I call it employing AI, right? Because to be honest, AI is now so advanced with its capability, with its features, intellect, right, more or less, that you're really hiring an army of employees who are very, sophisticated, very knowledgeable. They don't know your company yet, so they have to be trained. But at the same time, employees become kind of managers of AI agents, right? So, and I think this is very, when we look at digital twins, this also very much comes into play. The people are no longer just doing their job, they're managing, or they could manage, right? AI agents who work with digital twins. What would be your view on this?
So this is another topic that's sort of near and dear to my heart, and that organizations are faced with a challenge right now to transform. And what I see is the corporation of the future is really three levels. You have your corporate executive level, your strategy level, your C-suite, if you will. And then you have this orchestration level where you're building and deploying AI agents. And then the third level is your AI agents themselves. And
Right.
and so, and to your point, like the people that are doing the work now know the business, and they're extremely valuable for that knowledge. So they need to move
Right.
up into that orchestration level and be paired with your AI engineers to build and automate those tasks going forward. Doesn't mean that they're programming themselves out of a job. No, because the infinite scale of the company means that there's room for everybody going forward. So, but the organization now can grow rapidly, and that's a part of the
Mm-hmm.
transformation journey. And you're absolutely right. Like digital twins is one of those key things there. If you're looking at operations, you say, what's going on in my organization? Where are things happening? Where is equipment failing or potentially failing that's going to save me money? So there's a sustainability play as well as an operational cost play to everything that you're doing. And so it's about fine tuning and training those AI agents to look at this information, understand it, learn more from how you operate and how you run. And that's really the big transformation. I'll use that word many times in this,
Right.
that's facing organizations. One thing I will
But
say.
I agree that,
Yeah,
that the word here is transformation and reinvention, because there are so many things that has to be reinvented. The processes, the roles, the success metrics, how we build our organizations and teams in order to be more productive and successful, right, with this.
yes, absolutely. And I will say, like, it's very interesting when you start to look at organizations, industries, and how they're looking at AI. It brings me right back to Clayton Christensen's book on the innovator's dilemma. And I
Right.
believe that we are living right now in the innovator's dilemma across
Mm-hmm.
multiple industries.
Oh,
So
yes.
it is time to transform or get left behind.
Well, I would say that we have to sometimes unlearn what we've been doing well,
Yes,
because without it, we just continue doing as is, and those who come with innovations will just kill the kind of business as usual companies. Let's put it this way, because there are no more barriers for entrance, right? And if you have either VC money or investment money with all the great tools that you've got and all the technologies, I think almost any kind of software can be developed now, like in 5 or 6 months, using AI tools. And
absolutely.
but it's the specific expert knowledge of those who work with people, who work with buildings or systems, can be extremely valuable. So in our case, for example, we enabled our platform with AI, but both AI, which is generative AI, and ML, right? As we're collecting a lot of big data, the ML algorithms identify anomalies and inefficiencies in the way how systems operate. And then using ML technologies, we can say, okay, and classify. So this is this type of anomaly or the other type of anomaly, right? And then AI can help to identify the causes of these anomalies, help to provide recommendations, and also if there are too many events, and sometimes SCADA and BMS systems generate like hundreds and thousands of events, AI can help to identify which of them is just noise and which of them should be really taken care of. And I think that really AI has a lot of potential in this space. But you also mentioned that AI can become a real assistant and supporter for the on-site teams, as we have not just the data, but also the 3D anatomy of the buildings, right? Can you talk about that?
Sure. So spatial context for data is critically important. One of the things that organizations are going through now is the loss of institutional information. So where is that piece of equipment? Where is that valve? These are things that people that have worked in a building or a campus for 20 odd years, they just know where it is. So they can look at a
Right.
table and say, okay, I know exactly where that is.
I know exactly
As
what it is.
as
Yeah.
the new generation comes on board, they need some contextual information, and that's really where the 2D and 3D comes into play. And so, when we build our digital twin overlay, we embed that 2D and 3D context into it, so that, okay, here's the information you need, and here's where it's happening. We're spatial people. We've been trained, so to speak, to look at tables, but
Right.
we're spatial creatures by nature. So so that's critically important. And marrying those marrying the large language models, the ML models, with the spatial information is critically important going forward.
But it's also, I mean, I see there are a lot of assistance, for example, for car dealerships, right? Because you can say, okay, my car, generates this kind of noise. You can actually let your smartphone listen to the noise, right? And it says, okay, most likely this is, this kind of fault, because it does on the one hand, ML analysis of the pattern of the sound, right? And then through LLMs, it can find different ideas, right, about what this is all about and how this can be fixed. I believe that the next step in building management would be also, talking to the system and asking questions, right? Not just getting the reports and the graphs.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, our our solution, which is called Lexi AI, is is built on that premise, which is, I don't know. I want to know something that's going on, but I don't want to ask IT or somebody to build me a report for this.
Right.
So I just want to ask the question in natural language, let the agents go out, scour the information, return that information either as a table or as a spatial data. Um, and what's really nice about it is that if you are, let's say you're in the field and you're taking notes, you can just do a voice note about some piece of equipment. All of that information can get transcribed in the back end. And to your point, with the ML models, start to analyze that information, and then that can get surfaced. So you can say, like, show me, where has equipment been operating outside of bounds, or where have
Right.
technicians reported strange behavior with equipment, and then it'll show you where that happens. That's really um, speed to market, or speed to information is going to be critical going forward.
Okay. Now let's talk about the actual products, like AI-enabled product, right? Because you
Yes.
mentioned that you have your own solution, and just going back, let's say 1 year ago, it was still super hard, right? If you wanted to develop a new product, you needed a big team of professionals. Now it's just so much easier, right? So can you share your experience and what's really happening now in terms of product enrichment or product development with AI?
Yeah. So it is. It's all about speed now. We had built a chat interface concept 5 plus 7 years ago at this point. Um,
Hmm.
and it took us 18 months to program Watson at the time to hold a conversation. It was extremely complicated to do it. And that's sort of reflected today in those chatbots, on customer service chatbots. Once you ask it a question that's slightly outside of bounds, it says, I can't help you.
Right.
Same thing was happening with the system that we had built. When ChatGPT came along, we were able to switch out the front end inside of 2 months. And then when GPT-4 came out, we were able to give it some bounds to it. But now we're going forward with a completely new architecture of that interface, and it's going to be MVP done. It's going to be and that's only a couple of weeks to build the MVP. And now it's going to be about 3 months before we're on go to market with the platform. So by the end of the year we'll be in production, with the new platform, which is unheard of in terms of enterprise software.
Oh yeah.
In development. You could never do that 3 years ago.
Right. Have you been using vibe coding for that?
Sorry?
Have you been using vibe coding concept for that?
Yes. So we use there's it's agentic AI. So there's lots of different agents, and then the front end is coded using Copilot type of so it's all vibe coding. Yeah.
Right. Because what we've learned is that we try different approaches as well. So we found that for MVPs, vibe coding is perfect. So you take
Yes.
A package like Replit or Lovable or others, and it just said, do it. And then you get your MVP in maybe a couple of days, right? But then when it comes to actually building a robust enterprise level product, we start using Copilot type of products from Claude.
Exactly.
And we try to GitHub Copilot, but now we actually switch to Claude LLM to make sure that they help writing code for us. So therefore, we see kind of two levels of development. So MVP with vibe coding, right? And then when it's a professional package, we use Copilot type of solutions.
Yeah,
is that what you guys do as well?
The MVP is rough, so so all that fine tuning, of the user interface has to be done. We're doing the same thing with Claude, and that takes a little bit more time, but nowhere near the 1 to 2 years that it would take normally to build and launch an enterprise level product.
Right. Okay. Now, as we are getting to the end of our conversation, I want to talk about a thing that often comes up in the conversations about ROI on AI initiatives, right? And this is something that is not that easy to calculate. People say, okay, we want ROI in, I don't know, 3 months, in 1 year. So how do we calculate ROI? And I see that there are basically a lot of concerns that people invest a lot, or they have already invested a lot, and they don't see immediate results, especially when it comes to personal automation or even coding, because sometimes when you use Copilot type of products for coding, you still need humans to be involved in this. So building ROI business case is kind of tricky. So what would be your experience and your advice to our listeners?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one, because measuring transformation is sometimes difficult. But what I tell organizations is that you're going to scale your organization. So I use the metric of 100 to 1. So one person can manage about 100 AI agents effectively. And so if you have 500 employees now, then that's like having an organization with 50,000 employees. And so what can the organization do at that scale and that speed? So your speed to market, your scale is on a scale it's on a scale that you don't have today, which then means, okay, now I can increase my revenues, I can grow my business, I can grow my markets, I can take on new product lines, I can acquire more effectively, I can integrate those acquisitions into my organization more effectively. So so it's not so much about the return, it's about how quickly can you scale.
Right. And at the same time, sometimes it's a question of survival, I would say. If you don't do it, then others would come and they just take your business.
I completely agree. I mean, I look at, even even things like, how quickly I've started up, Twiniti. All of my marketing, everything was automated with AI, and it's I don't need a huge team. I can scale up very, very quickly. And the same thing holds true with organizations. Like the competition can come out of nowhere and scale up and start taking your business pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I talk about, like, you're in the middle of, the innovator's dilemma right now, and you've got to be cognizant of it, and you can't think, oh, it's not going to happen to us. Oh, we've been here for 100 years, but it's not going to happen to us. Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a very provocative recommendation for business owners and executives. It's like, if you want to test what's going to happen in the next maybe year or so, just try to put this kind of prompt in Grok, which says, I've got, huge investments and I want to be a competitor or a winner in the market where your company is playing, right? So just put in your company name and see what Grok or other LLM would recommend you as a new company with investments and with different technologies to do to win in that market. And that really is an eye opener, because when you understand what a newcomer can do with some investments, with the new technologies, and with the new approach to the market using AI, this is pretty amazing. And this allows you to immediately see potential risks, but also potential opportunities for growth. And therefore, I think that's where ROI business case also can be developed. It's kind of combination of success metrics, but it's also making sure that you are not losing in this race where AI can be a very, very strong engine, right?
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's a great example of putting your business into an AI and seeing, having it identify some of the weaknesses, as well. Again, it's about you've got a lot of intelligence and information at your fingertips. Use it. Don't shy away from it.
Yeah, and if you don't do it now, others will do it instead of you. That's
sure.
And so basically, when we talk about digital twins, it could be both for buildings, but also for businesses, right? And AI can really help to analyze your business in real time and give recommendations and find inefficiencies, right?
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, digital twins is not just for physical plant operations. It can be for your business operations as well. Who are my competitors? What are they? What are the competitors building? What are they doing? How can I counter them? How can I create a marketing campaign that plays off of my competitors' weaknesses and my strengths? All of these things, are a part of the digital twin of the organization.
Exactly.
Yep.
Cool. Well, George, thank you so much for this conversation. I think it's been extremely interesting and valuable for our listeners. So let's make sure that more and more businesses start moving towards AI transformation in the professional way, right? Because as you said, of course, you can buy LLM license and start with basic automation, but the real benefit comes from the enterprise-wide adoption. Any words for the end of our conversation from your side?
Yeah, so I think, that I've said it a number of times before, like, transformation is upon us now. You need to take advantage of it, take advantage of the tools that are out there. Twiniti, Hyperware, we're here to help, and just embrace the change.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. And we'll talk to you later. Have a great day.
Appreciate it. Great conversation.